Let's design an exam in evaexam. Here you can see some instructions to help get us started. We are going to follow these now. First, we'll go to create exam sheet. For the abbreviation, you can't leave white space, so use underscores or dashes. This name will be important later as you go to administer or print your test. Title it how you wish, and let's select paper and online exams. It gives us more flexibility in the design. There are so many customizations here. I'm scrolling through these so that you can see them all just in this initial setup page. You can evaluate the open questions directly on the exam sheet or online and apply. Now let's look at this header section. These are fully customizable, each and every one of these. If you double click, you can change the placeholder and input the participant placeholder if you wish. And once you press apply, it will be changed. Now let's start with adding a question group. You have to add at least one in order to start questions. You can use this as your instructions section or just name it how you wish to begin your questions. Now let's add a question. There are also a lot of design options here that we can add. So here are all the different types of questions. If you hover to the right over each question, you can see an example. Now let's go to the hotspot question because this is one that is only available for online testing. So in that initial setup window, you would need to select online only. And here are some at the bottom that you don't see often. So I'm hovering over these examples for you. And let's select the single choice question and design one together. As you can see, there are boxes here. If you hover over the words, it tells you what each box is for. The question text is where you're going to type your question. The explanation is why you got the answer correct. And the reference is what section of the book, lecture, chapter that the correct information came from. So we type in our question, we can put the level of difficulty, and then we're going to put our answer options. If the answer is correct, we're going to give 1 point. If it's incorrect, we'll give 0 points. So what is the capital of China? It's going to be Beijing. So once we get to that answer choice, we will change that score to 1. All the other options are going to be 0. So we'll just add some distractors here as well. And there you go. Now for the paper display, you have some options here for how the answers will display. And let's save that. And we're going to create a question where there are multiple correct answers possible. So for this particular one, the student and test taker can select multiple options and they'll get partial credit for each example that they select. So these are which of the following cities are located in Canada. Select all that apply. And we're going to do some distractors. So if it is incorrect, we're going to give 0 points for each. And if it is correct, we're going to give 1 point for the answer. So this one has 2 potential correct answers, and you would still get a point for each one that you select. So if they only selected Toronto, they would get 1 point. If they selected Toronto and Victoria, they would get 2 points. Now let's add a question where the test taker has to select all correct answers in order to receive credit for the question. So I'm using the example of arm bones in the human body, and there will be multiple correct answers. They have to select all in order to receive credit for the question. So you put in the number for the score, and then any penalty numbers if they get anything incorrect. And then this one's super easy. You just type in your answer and then select correct or incorrect. So this one, the radius and ulna are going to be correct. Everything else is an incorrect distractor. So there you go. And for this question, they have to select both radius and ulna to receive credit for this. If they only select radius, they get this question incorrect and receive 0 points. apply, and it adds it to the test. And as you can see, you have your preview right here. Now let's add an open question so you can see what that looks like. So in our question text, we're going to type our open-ended question. And as you can see there in answer field, we have a lot of customizable options. You can limit the amount of characters that students and test takers can reply. And like I said, you can add that. Oh, and we're getting a box here because we haven't typed in a sample solution. Since this is long, I've typed it elsewhere and I'm going to copy and paste so that you don't have to sit and watch me type it. All right, pasted that in and apply. And we can see what that looks like in the answer key here. So as you can see, our correct answers are labeled there, incorrect answers are labeled there. And then for our open-ended question, it has the question and then it has the sample solution. So as you're grading this, you can use that for inspiration. All right, there's so many other customizable options. You can do the paper, online preview, switch the views, view your answer key, and when you're ready to save and exit, you're done.